Hey guys, it's James, and if you've been following my channel for some time now, I like to build calculators that determine the future value of the funds and what it would look like if we reinvested and did not reinvest dividends. This right here is my single fund calculator. Over here is my fund versus fund calculator, just comparing two different income or dividend type funds. I also do some comparison with some S&P 500 funds as you've seen in the past. I also have a dividend calculator as well, and I am still working on my multi-fund investing calculator where you can take a number of holdings all the way up to 20, change the percent holding of each one, input everything in the yellow box, and then see what you would get with dividends reinvested and not reinvested, how long it would take you to reach 100, 500, 1,000, and 5,000 dividends per month, the portfolio size, the number of years achieved, and with your age inputted right here, how old you would be when you were to achieve this number. However, I'm not going to feature any of my workbooks in this video. I wanted to feature Portfolio Visualizer. I wanted to highlight three sections of this website. I wanted to take a look at the backtest portfolio section, the fund screener, and the fund performance section. If we take a look at their backtest portfolio asset allocation calculator, there's a lot of different inputs that we can play around with to be able to determine the history of various different funds as you type in the ticker symbol here. So for instance, I have already put in the calculator SPY, but as you start to type in this line here, get to choose between the different funds that they have input into their website. I have an S&P 500 ETF, a NASDAQ 100 ETF, and a Russell 2000 ETF. So up here, we have our inputs that we can play around with. We have a time period. We can go on a month-to-month basis, or we can change that on a year-to-year basis. Month-to-month is going to give us better data. They automatically, as a default, put your initial amount at $10,000. You can contribute a fixed amount and even withdraw a certain amount. We'll keep this at none. And then you can rebalance your portfolios. And then it looks like you can also play around with leveraging or having a certain amount of debt. Say you took a loan out at a certain percentage, you can put those numbers in there and see if you can beat the market. But personally, I don't think that's a very good investing strategy. You can also choose to reinvest dividends or not. You can also choose to display your dividends or display your annual income. And I'd also like to show you that they have preset portfolios in here, and I think it's pretty cool. So they have portfolios of high profile investors. For instance, if you take a look at David Swenson's lazy portfolio, it looks like you have these ticker symbols at these different allocations. And if we analyzed this portfolio, it'll tell you what that ticker symbol, the name of that, and its percent allocation. And then we can even see if it outperformed the NASDAQ 100 or the Russell 2000. And once you analyze the portfolio, it'll take your initial balance at your initial start date. And sometimes the start date will not go back to the start date that you specified up here, because some of these funds, some of these ticker symbols, did not start all the way back then. So what it's going to do is take the newest fund or newest ticker symbol and start at that date. So starting on June 30th of 2000, if we went all the way to year to date end of February 28th, 2022, it looks like Portfolio 3 would have outperformed all the other two portfolios. And Portfolio 3 is a 100% investment in the Russell 2000. And under portfolio returns, it also has your final balance with that initial investment, and it also has a cumulative annual growth rate return. And down here, you also have annualized returns per year, and it compares each of the different portfolios. And then it also has your income or your dividend payouts for those portfolios. Let's get back to our original portfolio allocation of the S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, and the Russell 2000. And take a look at what it tells us. And it shows that the Russell 2000, if invested in the year 2000, would have outperformed the NASDAQ 100 and the SPY or the S&P 500 ETF. And then remember, you can go back up here and choose it not to reinvest dividends and check out how your portfolio would have performed. Your portfolio CAGR numbers dropped about 1 to 3 percentage points without having dividends reinvested, but it still looks like the Russell 2000 would have outperformed the other two funds in this time period. I also wanted to show you guys this fund screener they have. I think this is pretty cool. It looks like they have about 26,552 entries on their website. But if we wanted to choose just ETFs, and if we wanted to take a look at any one of these different asset classes, such as we change the sector part of it, and we wanted to see only consumer cyclical, and we could also choose a range of expense ratios, but for this I would probably just keep it on all. And then over here for the expense ratios, you can click this button right here and see the least expense ratio fund and the most expense ratio fund. But going from left to right, it has its asset classification, its category, year to date, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, some risk factor measurements, and then also your 12-month trailing yield. So I think this is cool for dividend investors, those that want to find high dividend yield funds with good performance. Let's back up here and just do all and update the table. Again, 26,000 entries. If we update the table and take a look at the trailing 12-month yields, take a look at some of these funds, you can just start to get some ideas and write some ticker symbols down of these high yield funds. Or if you wanted to narrow your search down a little bit, you can choose different sectors. Let's say the communication sector, find a high dividend yielding fund, and we take a look and we have in the top 15 funds out of 45 entries in the communications sector, anywhere from 3% down to a 1.3% yield. And then we can compare that with their year-to-date, 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year performances. One more thing I'd like to show you on this website as well is their fund performance analysis. That would be this link right here. So we checked out the backtest portfolio, their fund screener, and their fund performance link. And you guys obviously can check these out as well, but I just highlighted these three for this video's purpose. So this is a little bit more in-depth fund performance analysis. So I chose the SPY. We'll do the Russell 2000 and the NASDAQ 100, and you can choose your dates here. You can actually choose which year and which date you want to perform your analysis. So let's say January 1st, 2016, all the way to March 1st, 2022. This has a little bit more information than the backtest portfolio. Even though you can't choose as much funds or build your own portfolio out, you can do a fund versus fund analysis here, and you'd be able to determine some of the better valuation methods, such as price versus earnings, PE, or price versus book, the 12-month trailing yields under fund information. And we take a look, and it looks like we have our three funds right here, and it also has some of the very similar information that the backtest portfolio calculator spit out. So starting with 10,000, these are our CAGR numbers and our final balances. So there you have it, at one of my favorite websites to be able to analyze the history of different stocks and to be able to analyze different portfolios or the history of them. If you guys like that, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. And with that, thanks for watching.